This is DX Central Live. This is DX Central Live. This is DX Central Live.
Welcome to DX Central Live, Season 5. We will be starting the show soon, so make yourself comfortable and be sure to join in on the conversation happening in the chat. Also, don't forget to submit your shout-outs, so we can celebrate together. The shout-out submission link is in the video description for our live stream. If you aren't already a subscriber, be sure to hit the subscribe button. While you are at it, giving this video a like and leaving a comment are great ways to help out the channel. We thank you for your continued support and look forward to seeing you in just a short while. Now get ready for DX Central Live, Season 5. Welcome to DX Central Live, Season 5. We will be starting the show soon, so make yourself comfortable and be sure to join in on the conversation happening in the chat. Also, don't forget to submit your shout-outs, so we can celebrate together. The shout-out submission link is in the video description for our live stream. If you aren't already a subscriber, be sure to hit the subscribe button. While you are at it, giving this video a like and leaving a comment are great ways to help out the channel. We thank you for your continued support and look forward to seeing you in just a short while. Now get ready for DX Central Live, Season 5. Welcome to DX Central Live, Season 5. We will be starting the show soon, so make yourself comfortable and be sure to join in on the conversation happening in the chat. Also, don't forget to submit your shout-outs so we can celebrate together. The shout-out submission link is in the video description for our live stream. If you aren't already a subscriber, be sure to hit the subscribe button. While you are at it, giving this video a like and leaving a comment are great ways to help out the channel. We thank you for your continued support and look forward to seeing you in just a short while. Now get ready for DX Central Live, Season 5. DX Central Live, Season 5. We will be starting the show soon, so make yourself comfortable and be sure to join in on the conversation happening in the chat. Also, don't forget to submit your shout-outs so we can celebrate together. The shout-out submission link is in the video description for our live stream. If you aren't already a subscriber, be sure to hit the subscribe button. While you are at it, giving this video a like and leaving a comment are great ways to help out the channel. We thank you for your continued support and look forward to seeing you in just a short while. Now get ready for DX Central Live, Season 5. Welcome to DX Central Live, Season 5. We will be starting the show soon, so make yourself comfortable and be sure to join in on the conversation happening in the chat. Also, don't forget to submit your shoutouts so we can celebrate together. The shoutout submission link is in the video description for our live stream. If you aren't already a subscriber, be sure to hit the subscribe button. While you are at it, giving this video a like and leaving a comment are great ways to help out the channel. We thank you for your continued support and look forward to seeing you in just a short while. Now get ready for DX Central Live, Season 5.
This is DX Central Live.
In the night, so dark and quiet, frequencies hum low like a riot. Tuning in with all my might, searching for a voice in flight. Cajun air, it holds the sound, radio waves from town to town. Static crackles, mix and turn, waiting for that name to learn. Signal fades, the name's unknown, trying to catch it all alone. Mystery calls, the night my friend, searching till the very end. Moonlight dances on the dial, rumbling with that Delta style. Notes float softly in the wind, still I wait for news to send. Signal fades, the name's unknown, trying to catch it all alone. Mystery calls, the night my friend, searching till the very end. Bayou whispers keep me still, craving for that lingering thrill. Misted voices lost in haze, echoes in this southern maze.
This is DX Central Live.
He's got his antenna way up in the air, dreams of Latin music out there somewhere. Cards in his hand, maps on the wall, late nights waiting, but he gets gets no call. All those radio waves, they play with his mind, searching for signals, but they're so hard to find. From Puerto Rico to faraway land, tune in the static, still no guitar in hand. He's there in the darkness, waiting for a sign, humming to the silence with a hopeful line. But the airwaves are quiet, nothing comes through. Just another night, feeling deja vu. Oh, those radio waves, they tease and they taunt with promises of rhythms, but give him just one. From Puerto Rico, he's searching afar, dreams of a broadcast beneath the bright star. And in his small room, by the glow of the moon, he waits for a melody, morning or noon. Signals may fail, but his hope never fades. Seeking the music, his spirit demands. Another dawn breaks, he's still at the dial. With every sunrise, he promises a smile. From Puerto Rico to faraway land, tune in the static, still no guitar in hand. He's there in the darkness, waiting for a sign, humming to the silence with a hopeful line. But the airwaves are quiet, nothing comes through. Just another night, feeling deja vu. Oh, those radio waves, they tease and they taunt with promises of rhythms, with a hopeful line. But the airwaves are quiet, nothing comes through. Just another night, feeling deja vu. And in his small room, by the glow of the moon, he waits for a melody, morning or noon. Signals may fail, but his hope never fades. Seeking the music his spirit demands. Another dawn breaks, he's still at the dial. With every sunrise, he promises a smile. Someday the frequencies will carry his tune. Till then, he dances to the rhythmless blue.
This is DX Central Live.
I got my radio on, just trying to get on it. But my baby says no way, so I'm stuck in this chair. I dream of signals far from north to east to west, but I can't put up no antenna. She says it's for the best. Dreaming of DX, signals I can't hear. My baby won't let me, so I'm sitting here in tears. That static calls my name, whispering in my mind. But without that big old tower, the signals I can't find. I see the towers rise in a distant starry sky, but here I'm bound in time, can't even say goodbye. Dreaming of DX, signals I can't hear. My baby won't let me, so I'm sitting here in tears. Dreaming of DX, signals I can't hear. My baby won't let me, so I'm sitting here in tears.
DX Central Live is brought to you in part by...
For more than 90 years, the National Radio Club has been at the forefront of providing DXers with the latest in station news, DX-related technical information, and reception reports from DXers around the world. The NRC's AM radio log, now in its 45th edition, is the most expansive and detailed resource of station information for U.S. and Canadian radio stations that is available in any format. The club's publication, the DX News, is available in both print and electronic format and provides the latest information on call letter and format changes, construction permits, and other information to help keep DXers informed of the latest updates they may hear on the air. For more information, visit their website at nationalradioclub.org. That's nationalradioclub.org. With a lifetime membership, the International Radio Club of America gives DXers incredible value by putting important station information right at your fingertips. The club's e-publication, the DX Monitor, includes DXer loggings, station information updates, international loggings, and more. Other club publications include the IRCA Mexican Log, a must-have resource for any DXer that chases stations from Mexico, the TIS-HAR list, the IRCA slogan list, sunset sunrise maps, and DXer technical guides. The joint IRCA-NRC email reflector and groups.io group is a hub for real-time DX conditions, station news, and DX-related conversation. For more information, visit ircaonline.org. That's ircaonline.org. From long wave to satellites, medium wave through HF, ham radio to scanners. If you can DX it, the Spectrum Monitor has you covered. Editor and publisher Ken Reitz has assembled a who's who of radio writers to share their knowledge and expertise from a wide range of DX-related topics. Each month, the Spectrum Monitor's columnists dive into their specialties to give readers tips, tricks, the latest news and station updates, and more. The Spectrum Monitor also provides a monthly assortment of feature articles that give in-depth insight into the past, present, and future of DXing. You can get a full year of the Spectrum Monitor for only $24. Individual issues from the current year are available for $3 each. You can also purchase previous years of the Spectrum Monitor in their entirety for as low as $12. For more information, visit thespectrummonitor.com. That's thespectrummonitor.com.
Through crashes of static in quiet hours, we listen. In languages we can scarcely understand, and of places we have only visited in our dreams, we listen. Incessantly, we perfect our array of aerials, receivers, and resources. We refine our skills and our techniques so that we might listen. We are DX Central, and we're all about radio. Visit us at dxcentralonline.com or check us out on YouTube. Search DX Central. Keep up with DX Central. Follow us on Twitter at DX Central.
I was sitting on this last night and I heard my friends on Radio Vision in Tumbes, Peru last night. When they have this one guy, it's this one church down there in Peru, and when the pastor is doing his thing, he's doing the prayers, it sticks out like a sore thumb. Listen to that live stream from Radio Vision in Tumbes, Peru. Memorize what that guy's voice sounds like, and as soon as you hear it on the air, you'll know it instantly. Let's see if we can hear Peru on 1090 here on this Kiwi on the south antenna. I think I hear him. Let's go look at the live stream right now and see if that's him preaching right now. I hear his voice. I recognize that voice anywhere. That's him. So let's go listen. Listen. Headphones if you need them. He's there. Peru. Go get him, guys. He's there.
You're watching DX Central Live with Lloyd Van Horn, and that's a very wise thing to do.
It's a Friday night. Lloyd in the North Shore setting frequencies right. AM and FM, the airwaves collide. DX Central Live, where the signals can't hide. Tuning in the static, chasing down the sounds. Every single signal is magic we have found. All radios hum, the chatters all agree. DX Central Live is the place to be. Folks in the chat, shout out your call. From east to west, we're breaking down the walls. It's the magic of the night, where frequencies fly. Join us now on DX Central Live.
From the Gulf South
to your corner of the world.
This is DX Central Live.
Now here's your host, Lloyd Van Horn.
From the North Shore Studios here in Mandeville, Louisiana, here in Studio A, we bring you DX Central Live Season 5, Episode 17. Welcome, my friends. So nice to have you here on this cloudy, cool Friday night here in Louisiana. Storms are percolating. We're going to get snow or something. Maybe some freezing rain. So it's going to be cold, and I mean like cold, like anyone would consider this to be cold, not just like Louisiana cold, right? So we're going to be getting some wintry weather, potentially, maybe, coming up here next week. So we're going to be living like you guys, those of you north of us. What a week of DX! My goodness. I hope you guys are enjoying yourselves. And the country challenge. It's been fun. I've had a blast, as I thought I probably would. I mean, it's easy when you're like addicted to Latin American DX to get excited about DXing Latin America. So I mean, that part should come as no surprise. But it has been a blast this week, chasing after all this great DX that's out there. Conditions haven't been as good as I would want them to be for that, but they have been pretty good. And giving us some cool stuff. And I know a lot of you are getting some cool stuff. I've been seeing the stuff in the Slack channel this week. New countries, new milestones are falling for folks. We have some new countries we got here in the last week. 2 of them, 2 new countries in the last week. We're going to be talking about that. It's been fun, man. It's been a lot of fun. So hopefully you guys are enjoying as well. And able to spend some time on the dials or the mouse, as it were, for those of us, or the trackpad. Those of us in the SDR game. We're going to be doing a lot of DX tonight. And the main reason I want to do a lot of DX tonight is I think this is a good opportunity for us to spread some tips and some tricks about DX for searching for Latin America. And some of the things that I have done and some of the things that I've learned from others that they have done to try to get more of these Latin American countries in my logbook. So we're going to talk a bit about that tonight and some of the prep work and the research that goes into doing some of these things when you're targeting specific countries or specific states. We're going to talk a bit about the research that goes into that and how the planning goes into, because we did hit a pretty big one this week. We snagged a big fish, and that took about a year of work and planning and attacking that plan and revising it and attacking that plan, revising it and attacking and just keeping it on to go. So we're going to talk definitely about that. John mentions over here in the chat, and I had not forgotten about you guys on that one, several e-skip openings on the East Coast, Northeast this week. We didn't have any of it down here, but you know what? You guys got skunked all season long on the East Coast, so I am totally fine with seeing you guys get the e-skip here in January up into the Midwest. Up around Justin, our friend up in Minnesota, he got in on the action this week, and so definitely some opportunities for some FMDX. So we'll take a look at that and look at some of the maps and see what was kind of going on this week, to see what was out there. And then obviously your shout outs. We're gonna get to your shout outs as well. So make sure you go to our website, dxchallenges.com. And you can go directly to that. You don't have to register to submit a shout out, but it's a good idea for you to go ahead and make sure you register. That way you can take part in our fun challenges and things like that we do. dxchallenges.com/shoutout. Get you right to the shout out page. Get your shout outs in, and we'll blow that horn of victory on your behalf as we celebrate together, right? All right. So last night I was up late, pretty late. Even for me, it was a late night. Chasing after South American countries. And so we were sitting on 770, looking for Uruguay with no luck, looking for Radio Oriental out of Montevideo, and then moving to 1140 and 760, looking for Chile, Radio Nacional de Chile, and another station out of Chile on 760. And then also potentially maybe trying Bolivia, but double checking some research, I found out that's not going to probably work out, that particular outlet, so we got to come up with another plan. So tonight, again, we're going to be doing a lot of DX here on the AM side, some live, some we're going to be doing some recording review. I think that's important to show as well. And some of the techniques that I have been using this week and that others have been using this week. It's not just me. Several others have been using these techniques this week to get new ones in their logbook. We'll be going through that. Also, with that in mind, with some of the research that I'm talking about, we did add in several. We had at least one new sound. We have another one we're going to add in here in a bit for our Unique Sounds of Latin America research page on our website. And we also added in some more anthems. We blew up the anthem page with a bunch of anthems, and we're going to be adding some more to that as we go along as well. I have at least one more I want to add in there. So we'll take a look at those and give you guys a lay of the land on that and what is there for you and how you can use that for your DX. Sound cool? All right, let's do some live DX. This edition of Live DX is brought to you by International Radio Club of America, IRCAonline.org. IRCAonline.org for more information about membership and getting involved with the IRCA and taking advantage of all the benefits therein, including the DX monitor and some of the other publications that you can have access to and so forth. So definitely go to ircaonline.org for your membership information and for more details. All right. So we are sitting on a couple of different SDRs right now. Right now on screen, you see our AirSpy HF Plus Discovery, which I should probably, well, I just swapped it around now. Let me go here. Okay, now we got our AirSpy HF Plus Discovery with our SDR Sharp software. This is running this week our 175 degree due south CAS. I've been doing some moving around the antennas here as I'm chasing different things, and I wanted to try the co-channel canceller on that antenna, so we swapped that around. On our Perseus this time around, we actually have our boop, there it is. On the Perseus, we have the 125 degree southeast antenna. So we're looking more towards the Caribbean, Colombia, that way on the Perseus this time around. And then on the AirSpy, we're looking more towards due south into Central America and stuff like that. We also still do have our assortment of Kiwis. Now, the DX Central Kiwi, we have those two antennas I just talked about, and we also have our kind of southwest-ish super loop looking at 263 degrees, so it gets us into Mexico. And we also still have our shortwave Central Kiwi, which is back online now after some power stuff going on this week today. Electric company doing some funny stuff. But we have that one up and running again, and that's on our 150 degree antenna, looking kind of right at Colombia. So really good look into South America. This is one of the ones that got us our big fish catch this week. So definitely be using that. But let's go straight to the AirSpy to start us off. And let's do a little bit of DX. Of course, we have top of the hour coming up. This is going to be by request tonight. Any frequencies that we sit on are going to be by request. And our first request was for 1120. This is from our friend Barry Bankston, requesting 1120. We've been chasing some different Latin stations here on 1120 the last couple of days. Can we get rid of KMOX? We're going to use a combination of our vactrol to do that and our co-channel canceller, so we can see if we can knock those guys down enough to be able to hear some nice Latin tastiness underneath. Let's go.
What's this, it's a Hulu show? Something boring.
So there's KMOX. So I'm going to use my vactrol here. I'm going to tune it so that we can try to reduce. This is pointing almost due south. St. Louis is almost to my due north. I should be able to get a pretty good null on him here.
I have no idea. I'll look it up right now. I'm looking. We'll see. So it's a guy sitting down and he looks at his watch. So that's, I think the idea there is that he's waiting for something to happen. And you would think that, do you know?
I was going to say I have no clue, but
Okay.
I think that's what...
You know what, thank you. How old are you?
I'm 22.
Thank you.
I have
Thank
no
you
idea.
for not knowing a reference that I also do not know. As somebody who, every single day as I go through life, I feel older and older and older. Thank you.
Okay, that's a pretty decent drop down. It's not a null, but it's kind of a drop down. So now we can use the code channel canceller to finish them off. There they go. You know, no matter how many times I do this, I'm still amazed by this technology. All right. So we're sitting here on 1120, and we're just looking for some Latin American stations. Now, it's a little early still. We did recently just get into sunset here, but we might have a shot at some stuff. Let's take a look around and see what we can find. Not much really populating in there yet. There's a weak station in. Let me add a little bit of noise reduction. See if we can make that stand out a bit better. Can I back off some of the correction a little bit? Not there yet. But we're going to go ahead and mute the air spy for now. Let's go back over to our Perseus here. And let's turn that top screen off on the Kiwi there. Let's go back to the Perseus. There it is. Too many SDRs going on here. And see what we have on the 125 degree. Now, we're going to have a lot of KMOX in here.
I was just looking on eBay where I go for
Hey, Mamacita.
things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card. I used for my set.
Designer handout of my sleeve. Sort of like that, and eBay had it. And now everyone's asking. Ooh, where'd you get your...
Nothing in there just yet. We got KMOX in, but not a lot here on the Latin side just yet.
EX Central Live, top of the hour alert.
It's almost like getting the quick notes right on how you could make your money go a lot further in retirement.
All right, we're going to switch this over now to the Kiwi, our Shortwave Central Kiwi. Nice with Mamacita in the house now. We're going to throw this over to the Shortwave Central Kiwi and see what we can get here. Where is my... Let's pull this up here up top. All right. And let's see what we can get here on 1120 on the 150 degree antenna.
And good for the St. Louis Places District. Now, there are still openings for classes this month and next. Call 314-947-2012. 314-9...
Still a lot of KMOX. It's a little early for us to be getting deep into Latin America right now. That would really come in the next hour or so, when we would start seeing like a lot of the Colombians pop up.
Heating and cooling UV air scrubbers and whole house air purifiers. These solutions can eliminate invisible airborne particles, whether they're allergens and pollen, pet dander.
So what was that other frequency that Barry said?
Bacteria and viruses. They also can eliminate tumors. Call Comfort Solutions Heating and Cooling to improve your air quality today. And don't forget about the $89 maintenance.
740. That was the other one, 740. Let's go down here and look at 740.
Sports Radio 740 is Montgomery's sports leader. Can be heard on a smart speaker. To play Sports Radio 740.
I'll tell you guys here in a minute what we were looking for here.
Montgomery, WSFX, DC10 Preston. This is Sports Radio 740.
There's Alabama. We're going to mute that now. We're going to go down to 740 here on the Perseus and see if we can find anything down here.
Absolutely amazing. I hope you're ready for some football over the weekend. Football tomorrow, NFL playoffs. Football on Sunday.
What we're looking for here is a sign of Radio Sandino here in Managua, Nicaragua. This is a station that Tim Trump recently heard from up in Michigan, and we were able to use their website to match it up here as well in Mandeville. So they do cut through, and when you have conditions that are conducive here in Central America, they can be helpful. They can be achievable for most folks, at least. Up in Michigan, Tim heard them, and then so other folks have a shot in there as well. Not hearing them right now. Let me go back in here. Let's look due south here on our due south antenna here on the Air Spy and see if maybe that might be able to get us something. Let me go to 740 and hit. A lot of domestics on here tonight. A lot of domestics. There's KTRH. See, they're even freaking out. All right, so that's those are the first two frequencies we're going to use here. 740 and 1120. Let's go back really quick to I just want to double check 1120 and see if we have anything. Let me go ahead and also put this here as my center frequency so I can get that whole big portion of the band here. Now we're free to move about the band. 1120. There we go.
Of the land now.
So we've got them. We've got KMOX mostly taken out. There's somebody in there weak. Not enough really yet just to pull them out. Like I said, we're a little early for Latin America here, this early into the evening. They'll really start pouring in here in a bit. So we'll see if we can come back to those here in our next hour. Oops. And have a shot at hearing maybe some of those Latin American stations. So again, if you have a frequency that you want to have us sit on, let us know, and we'll definitely check that out tonight. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to be doing some talk about some of the stuff that we heard this week, including our two new countries, including the big fish. And we'll play you some samples of what we heard. And that's going to lead us into our discussion about researching and planning and establishing a plan for targeting either a specific country or a specific station if you're going after a specific station, and how to kind of develop that plan and execute that. So we're going to talk a bit about that. Some of the techniques that I've been using this week, some of the techniques I've been seeing others use this week as well. And we'll do some reviewing of recordings to kind of demonstrate some of that. So a lot to get here to this hour. So don't go anywhere, my friends. More DX Central Live is heading your way right after this. So stay tuned.
DX Central, because we're all about radio. Visit us at dxcentralonline.com or check us out on YouTube. Search DX Central. DX Central Live is brought to you in part by...
With a lifetime membership, the International Radio Club of America gives DXers incredible value by putting important station information right at your fingertips. The club's e-publication, the DX Monitor, includes DXer loggings, station information updates, international loggings, and more. Other club publications include the IRCA Mexican Log, a must-have resource for any DXer that chases stations from Mexico, the TIS HAR list, the IRCA slogan list, sunset sunrise maps, and DXer technical guides. The joint IRCA-NRC email reflector and Groups.io group is a hub for real-time DX conditions, station news, and DX-related conversation. For more information, visit ircaonline.org. That's ircaonline.org. From long wave to satellites, medium wave through HF, ham radio to scanners. If you can DX it, the Spectrum Monitor has you covered. Editor and publisher Ken Reitz has assembled a who's who of radio writers to share their knowledge and expertise from a wide range of DX-related topics. Each month, the Spectrum Monitor's columnists dive into their specialties to give readers tips, tricks, the latest news and station updates, and more. The Spectrum Monitor also provides a monthly assortment of feature articles that give in-depth insight into the past, present, and future of DXing. You can get a full year of the Spectrum Monitor for only $24. Individual issues from the current year are available for $3 each. You can also purchase previous years of the Spectrum Monitor in their entirety for as low as $12. For more information, visit thespectrummonitor.com. That's thespectrummonitor.com. For more than 90 years, the National Radio Club has been at the forefront of providing DXers with the latest in station news, DX-related technical information, and reception reports from DXers around the world. The NRC's AM radio log, now in its 45th edition, is the most expansive and detailed resource of station information for U.S. and Canadian radio stations that is available in any format. The club's publication, the DX News, is available in both print and electronic format and provides the latest information on call letter and format changes, construction permits, and other information to help keep DXers informed of the latest updates they may hear on the air. For more information, visit their website at nationalradioclub.org. That's nationalradioclub.org.
Through crashes of static in quiet hours, we listen. In languages we can scarcely understand, and of places we have only visited in our dreams, we listen. Incessantly, we perfect our array of aerials, receivers, and resources. We refine our skills and our techniques so that we might listen. We are DX Central, and we're all about radio. Visit us at dxcentralonline.com or check us out on YouTube. Search DX Central. Keep up with DX Central. Follow us on Twitter at DX Central.
This man told me to say you're watching DX Central Live with Lloyd Van Horn. Can I have my juice now?
Airwaves playing loud and clear. Good DJs bringing cheer. Voice of gold up on the scene. Signal strong just like a dream. Hear the jingle station name. DXers in the nightly game. Picking up that magic sound. On the hunt all around. Radio heroes in the sky. Let them frequencies fly. Sound calling far and wide. Good DJs never hide. Stations
from the DX Central North Shore Studios, this is DXC Live. Now here's your host, Lloyd Van Horn.
It's DX Central Live from the North Shore Studios. We're in Mandeville, Louisiana. Bringing you live DX, DX conversations, shout-outs, challenges, fun all around. Sing it again.
Heroes in the sky, let them frequencies fly. Sound calling far and wide. Good DJs never hide.
It's every Friday night here on DX Central Live. We bring you the live DX-related conversations and more. So glad to have you here with us. And whether you're watching on YouTube or on your computer, on your TV, some folks do that. Some folks take and put the YouTube up out on the TV, so it's like you're watching me on TV. That's crazy. I'm on TV. Can't believe that. Let's talk about DX. So AMDX specifically, we had a big week this week here at DX Central. Big week. Historically, whenever I would start a season, I would always set out a goal and I'd say, okay, I want to hear X number of new states and X number of new countries. It's getting to that point now where setting that as a goal is nice, but it's so hard now to do. I'm getting to the point where the states that I have left, some of the countries that I would have left, they're getting harder and harder to do. Not that I can't do them, but I don't really use that as a goal anymore. I have other areas where I'm trying to set my goals around, like logging 5 stations every month for every month of the year, things like that. But last season, I got 3 new countries. We had Algeria, we did Argentina, and we did Haiti last year. So 1 Caribbean, 1 South America, and 1 over in Europe. And I didn't think, I was like, I might get 1 this year if I'm lucky. We'll see. In the last week, we got 2 this week. And we're going to talk a bit about some of those. So let me start off the first one here. We're going to talk about British Virgin Islands. So this came in on the 12th, evening of the 12th. So the lay of the land on British Virgin Islands, is the only AM radio station on the island. It's on 780 kilohertz, ZBVI. Our friend Paul Walker has done some of the imaging for him, so you'll hear his voice on there. They sign off almost every night at 8 o'clock Central Time, which is 10 o'clock Atlantic Time? There where they are in the Virgin Islands. So 9 o'clock Eastern, 8 o'clock Central Time. So right here coming up at 0200 UTC. We'll say that 0200 UTC they sign off. Some nights I have seen them stay on on a Friday or a Saturday night. I've seen them stay on later and they play more dance music and stuff like that until I want to say it was 0500 UTC, 03, somewhere in there. So there's a couple nights a week they do stay on later. But the vast majority of the time they're signing off at 0200 UTC. And why that's important is because they play God Save the King, British national anthem. They play God Save the King at their sign-off. And while it's not as good as Morse code or a tone sweep or something like that, like a DX test would, it's pretty dang good at cutting through the static and the noise, and it sticks out pretty well. And so even if you don't hear some of the audio from ZBVI, if you hear that if you hear their anthem playing, God Save the King, if you hear that playing there right around 0200 UTC, that's them, right? So I've been working on this for a while, actually. And then I lost my Southeast antenna, and so I had to put that on hold, and I got my Southeast antenna. And ever since I got that back up, that has been priority 1 was British Virgin Islands. I want British Virgin Islands in my logbook, and Dominican Republic. Those were the 2. I want Dominican Republic and British Virgin Islands. Actually, we have 3. I forgot about Dominican Republic. We do have 3 new countries this year so far. I forgot about that. Well, okay. Anywho, so been sitting up and we pulled up the live stream, and I'll show you guys here the live stream for ZBVI. Let's get that pulled up here on screen. So this is their live stream. And so you can just hit play right here. Okay. And then you got music. Most of the time they're playing some sort of island music, reggae music, things like that. Most of the time. That's what they're playing. And so again, right around 0200 UTC, they're going to sign off and they're going to play God Save the King. Okay. And here, I'm just going to play this for you. I'll let you hear it. Here is what that sounds like, because I actually have it recorded here from some of the work that I was doing kind of prepping for this. It's way down here. There it is. Okay, before I play. So this is part of a sequence, and I actually will show this on screen. So this is part of a sequence. So the sequence is they'll have like some music that will stop, the song will stop, and then you'll hear like some kind of ID or something like that, like an imaging canned ID. And then you'll hear someone come on the air usually and say, you're listening to, and they'll do the ID and they'll say their power and they're signing off and all that kind of stuff. And then they do a ballad song. I forget the name of it. It's Till We Meet Again, basically, is the not the one from the war, but Till We Meet Again. It's this, I forget who it is that does it. Anyway, and then after that is over, then you'll hear what you're going to hear here. So. Warbles a little bit right there. I always love that. You can actually tell it's like an old tape that they either have digitized or it's still the old tape. Those last notes, and then it's done, right? But those last notes, they really punctuate those on that clip. So that's what they're playing. That's what it sounds like when they do their sign off. So here is what I heard here. You're going to want headphones. And it's going to start here in just a few seconds. And then it cuts. So if you had headphones on, hopefully you could hear that in there. So it's not super strong here, but it was enough for me to say, there they are, because there's nobody else on 780 playing God Save the King. I'll tell you that right now, okay? So this was also a technique that was used by our good friend Sean Kutsko, the silky smooth voice of our promos and imaging here that we have here at DX Central Live. Sean KX9X, he did the exact same thing, and this is it. This is what he heard. This starts about, what, 14 seconds, wasn't it? There's going to be two things we're actually going to hear in this clip. See what I'm saying? Like, it's just, you didn't really hear anything before that. If you listen really super close with a good pair of headphones and you kind of lean in, you can actually hear that song on his clip, at least. You can hear that, Till We Meet Again. You can hear that on his clip. Super weak, but it was there. Couldn't hear that on mine. Mine, the only thing I got was God Save the King. But even here, like... There was the other thing. I told you you're hearing two things in here, right? So we got God Save the King. Did you hear that little melody, little ditty right there? Let's play that again. That little sound right there is another station IDing. That's another station IDing. And if you were watching the stream last week, you know exactly who it is. Or if you've heard them before, you know exactly who that is. Well, we're going to come back to that. All right? But just remember that little ditty right there. Da-da-da-da. Remember that when we get back to it here in a bit. and they're pretty much gone by this point. So this is all to say, the only way that I have BVI in my logbook, or Sean has it in his logbook, and countless other DXers have it in their logbook. Again, the only AM radio station on the island, the only way that we have it in there is because we knew what time they were going to sign off and what their programming was going to be. Now, some folks heard about it through word of mouth. I first heard about this through word of mouth from other DXers. But this brings me to my next point. Had I not heard about that through other DXers, how could I have also done the same thing and had the same approach? So we talked in one of our videos here on DX Central recently. We did a video on creating a target list of stations. So you decide, okay, here's the countries that I want, right? And I'm going to see what AM stations are there and what stations I should target that have adequate amount of power or whatever. So as you're seeing, especially if you're in the clubs, right, and you're looking at the club bulletins like DX Monitor for IRCA, DX News for NRC, and you're seeing what other people are logging, right? You're seeing other people logging. That means it gets out. So if it gets out, that means people are hearing it, and it's accessible for folks. If it's accessible for folks and it's getting out, that means you can hear them too. There's a chance that you can hear them. Okay. So then it becomes about, okay, either through a target list that I pull and I say, I want to hear Brazil, and I'm going to pull a list of some stations in Brazil that I want to try for, or if it's a specific station like this that I know I want to target, what do? Well, you pull up that live stream that we just had up, right? And you listen to it throughout the day. You listen to it different times. Now, in this particular case, you would have to know to listen around their local sign-off time to know, unless you see some other. I think Jacob mentioned that medium wave list shows they sign off at 0200 UTC during the weekdays, 0300 on weekends. So that's where you're using your resources there to help you with that piece of information. So you know if they're going to sign off, a lot of stations when they sign off play an anthem of some sort, okay? Or when they sign on, they play an anthem of some sort. That's going to come back here in a minute as well. So in this case, if I have that information and I have medium wave lists and I'm looking on there and I see there's ZBVI in British Virgin Islands and I'm seeing that Sean or Tom Laskowski or Barry or whoever's hearing it, I'm like, okay, I want to go hear these guys. I know they sign off at 0200. I know that people are hearing this stuff. What do I need to do? How do I recognize that? Go pull up the live stream, listen to them at that same time. If you have Bandicam, you can record it like I did, and then go back in and listen to that and familiarize yourself with it, right? I'm doing this right now. I'm doing this exact process right now with radio stations in Chile and Uruguay because I'm going after those two countries. And so like yesterday, I was sitting here doing my day job. I had my laptop and I was doing work and I had my headphones on listening to Radio Nacional de Chile on 1140 kilohertz. Just listening to the station. What kind of ads do they run? What kind of imaging do they use? What do their announcers sound like? What kind of programming do they do? Do they do a lot of music, a lot of talking, a lot of sports, a lot of whatever? What does their top of the hour sound like? Do they have any kind of unique jingle or sounder or something like that that's really kind of unique to them that might stick out a bit? What does the bottom half of the hour look like? What does that sound like? How do they ID? How often do they ID? Again, what kind of ads do they play? Or is there anything unique or special about some of the ads they play? Like they have an ad that has a rooster in it or something like that, right? Like these little things that you can try to get an idea of and listen to them at various times of the day. Listen to them some during the day, sometimes at night. See if it's the same kind of content. Listen to them at sunrise, at sunset. If you have Bandicam, you can pull up their live stream and just have that running, and then you can have a schedule set to record that even overnight. So this kind of stuff where you're pulling up a live stream, we didn't have this 30 years ago, right? You pull up a live stream or an online Kiwi from somewhere, right, that's near the station you're trying to target if you can't find a live stream. And you do some recon, you do some intelligence, you information gather as much as you possibly can. And you do a Google search on, or come here to YouTube and do a YouTube search for the station that you're trying to hear. Maybe there's going to be some clips of that station, either from the station themselves or from other DXers like myself who upload air checks of us hearing that station. That can be helpful for you. That's the whole reason that I put a catalog of air checks on my YouTube channel, was so that other DXers could find that air check and know what it sounds like when whatever station does an ID, and they can use that to help them, right? That was the whole reason I started putting those air checks up on YouTube. So even if you didn't have a live stream, you would have some sort of resource you could hopefully take advantage of if it's one that I've got. And I've got such a backlog of those, by the way. I've got hundreds of AM and FM, hundreds of AM, hundreds of FM that I have to upload. It's a nightmare. But yeah, do this kind of research, do some planning. Look at the sunset times, the sunrise times of the station as a great example of this. I found that there is a radio station in Bolivia on 760 called Radio Fides. Okay. And I was like, they're an adequate amount of power. They had enough power that I thought I had a shot at them. And so I said, okay, I'm going to see around right before their gray line. I get an idea of what time their local sunrise is. I can get a shot at maybe trying to hear them. Right. So I found that what was the local sunrise time in that particular town in Peru or in Bolivia where the station was located. And I found it was around this morning, around 9:50 UTC. And I went up to listen for him and didn't hear him. Doing some additional research, this is one I kind of did off the cuff. I didn't do my adequate amount of research beforehand. Would have saved me some time. I found the station doesn't actually sign on until 5:45 Bolivia time, which is Eastern time zone, which is 4:45 here, and their sunrise is at 6:49 or 3:49 a.m. So they actually sign on almost an hour after their local sunrise. I got no shot at getting them in the morning, the gray line, because there's right now, at least, the way the gray line lines up and their sunrise and what time they actually sign on, I got no shot there. So I'm not going to waste I can either go down the list and get another station, or I can look and see what time they sign off and see if I can get the sign off period at night. Maybe that's a better play. So just knowing stuff like that. What time do they come on? What time do they go off? Because a lot of these Latin stations, especially down in South America, they do sign on, sign off. If they don't sign on, sign off, right? Good to know that, because now, like, for instance, my next big fish that I caught this week, Paraguay. 920 ZP1 in Paraguay. They don't sign off. They're a 24-hour station. So what did I do? Here's the story. It was, I want to say it was Wednesday night. Yeah, it was Wednesday night when I caught them. Thursday morning. I had gone to bed, as I typically do when I go to bed. Many nights, I'll put my AirPods in, Bluetooth AirPods, and I'll pull up my Kiwi or our Shortwave Central Kiwi. And I'll just tune to a frequency, and I'll just put those in, and I'll close my eyes, and I'll just listen as I fall asleep. Sometimes I zonk out. Sometimes I just kind of sit there and listen for a while. But that's what I was doing. I was listening, and I was sitting on 750 listening for AM 750 in Argentina, specifically for the challenge. I was wanting to get Argentina logged in for the challenge that we're doing this week. And I was laying there, and I wasn't hearing anything underneath WSB. It wasn't going well, but I was still just kind of sitting there listening. And I was just about to fall asleep, and I thought I heard the word Nacional. So I kind of stirred for a second. I was like, whoa. So I got up, came in here to the shack, tuned it to 750, nothing. I didn't look because it was kind of spur of the moment. Again, it wasn't pre-planned. I didn't look. I had already passed sunrise in Buenos Aires. But I was coming up on sunrise in Paraguay. I knew that once you hit that Buenos Aires, you've got a little window between then and when you get to the sunrise in Paraguay. So I was like, let me just give them a shot and see if they're there. I'll just try them, because I've been listening to their live stream, so I kind of knew what I was expecting to hear, and I know their cadence and when they ID and stuff like that. So I just wanted to go, just give it a shot. And I was right past the top of the hour, so I knew I'd probably just missed their top of the hour ID, but I just wanted to give them a shot. So I flipped up to 920, and I pulled up the Kiwi down in Paraguay. And when I did that, I had my on-air signal on my Kiwi pulled up on one part of the window. Then I pulled up the Kiwi down in Paraguay on the other half of the window, and I had both of them running. And when I did, I had an echo. And when you hear that echo, that is such a good feeling, because you know you got them. As soon as you hear that echo, you can hear the Kiwi and my Kiwi, the Paraguay and my Kiwi, both have the exact same thing coming in, the same station, and it was ZP1. So then I was doing this little technique where I would mute one and listen to the other, and mute that one and listen to the other again. So I was going back and forth, muting mine, listening to theirs, muting theirs, listening to mine, and just matching it up. And I'd hit record, on my Kiwi. Once I realized I had them, I hit record on both mine and the Paraguayan Kiwi, which you can do. For those of you who don't know, if you are ever tuned to a Kiwi, if you aren't aware of this, here on the Kiwi, where your little control panel is here, next to the speaker icon where you can mute and unmute right here, there's a little curved red arrow right here. If you click that, that's a record button. So now I'm recording audio on my Kiwi until I hit the little curved arrow again, and it stops and it downloads a file for me. So that's what I did. And you can do this on any Kiwi, not just one that you have, right? It's on any Kiwi. You can do that. You can record the audio on that Kiwi, on the instance that you're logged into. And it's going to just record just that audio from just that one frequency you're sitting on. So that's what I did. I hit record on the Paraguay, record on mine, and let that roll. And I also had, when I got to the shack, when I first got in looking for Argentina, I had hit record on my AirSpy as well, recording a wideband recording of 530 to 1250. So I knew I had them because I was doing the back and forth mute, unmute thing on the two Kiwis. I knew I had them. And so listened for a while until I no longer could really kind of hear them on mine. Hit the stop on both of those recording little things, because you have to hit stop. If you just turn off, if you just close the window, it's not going to keep the recording. So I just hit that little arrow thingy to stop the recording and save it in my downloads file, and I'll take a look at it tomorrow. So I got up in the morning and I imported my two files into Audacity, my two audio files, and I lined them up, got them right in line where I had that same kind of echo that I had heard live. And I was going back and forth, and I heard very distinct matchup. And here is what I heard. Let me scroll up here. This is what I heard. Well, let me show you first the live DX matching. Let's do that first. This is the live DX matching I was So you can hear it's the same voice. It's the exact same voice on theirs over on the left and mine over on the right. It's the exact same voice that I was hearing. Now, I go in, I can say the next morning, I pull my two audio files that I recorded from the Kiwi into Audacity, an audio editing program, and I line them up. And the first thing you're going to hear is the live stream from Paraguay down here at the bottom. And then I'm going to switch it up to the top. Now listen very, very carefully to the words that are said and how they're said and when they're said, because you're going to hear the exact same thing on mine. Okay?
Transformando nuestra economía. Estos avances generan empleos, diversifican nuestra producción y reducen la dependencia de factores externos. Además, el compromiso del gobierno de Paraguay con la austeridad fiscal está estabilizando la deuda pública, enviando una economía. Estos avances generan empleos, diversifican nuestra producción y reducen la dependencia de factores externos. Además, el compromiso del gobierno de Paraguay con la
that Paraguay, that when I heard that, it was in the first 15 seconds of the clip. When I heard that, I was like, done. This is a done deal. So I still have more of that to kind of go through and review. I haven't completed my review of those aligned files, but I don't know if I need to. And the reason I don't know if I need to is because then I said, wait a minute, I was recording on my AirSpy and it's at 175 degrees pointing straight down, and Paraguay was about 160 something, I think, for me, if I'm right, or 140 something. So I was within, 20 degrees or so from them. Maybe I caught them on the AirSpy, and I could use the code channel canceller to try to get rid of anything that might be there from like Little Rock, Arkansas, the sports station, things like that. Sure enough. Ooh, did you hear that? I mean, there were some earlier ones in there too, but listen to this right here. This was the part when I went, done. And there was the other thing. So there was a Radio Nacional, this is a deep voicemail ID, a Radio Nacional ID, and then there was a website address with Radio Nacional punto something. And their website address is radionacional.gov.py. So they have that double dot in their website address. Done deal. If I keep playing this, you're going to hear the exact same voice that we heard on the other clip as well. So Jacob mentions here in the chat, he puts his audio from one target in the left ear and on the right, and he'll like cut them in and out. I do the exact same thing, by the way. I usually do the exact same thing to kind of get that lined up. So that's usually what I kind of start with. So there you go. So that was on the Air Spy. It was recorded on the Air Spy, and since I'd been starting that earlier than I did the Kiwis, I got that ID, which was nice. So that was the big one. That was country number 24. Okay, we're sitting at 24 countries. British Virgin Islands was country number 23. Paraguay was number 24. So that got us now a new country in the logbook, deep in South America, just under 4,400 miles. I had been trying for these guys for over a year. Okay, when I was trying for Argentina, I had heard that people were hearing Paraguay on 920, and they were hearing Uruguay on 770 in Montevideo, Radio Oriental. It's right there on the coast. So I had heard about those two, and I knew some people were starting to hear Argentina, like Bill Curry up in Michigan. Jacob was hearing, like several people had been hearing Argentina, and I knew that some people had heard recently Paraguay and Uruguay, so I was like, well, I'm going to give them a shot. I never could. I got the Argentina. That came in, but I could never get it matched up and get everything lined up for 920 and 770. So I recently had kind of started back up again on Paraguay for a couple of different reasons. Funny ones. I'd recently started back up again on Paraguay, and when I did, I kept listening to the live stream, recording the live stream at various times, trying to find something. And I thought a couple of days ago, I might have had a bit of a match, but it was very loose, and it was just tenacity. So all of this that I'm telling you is to tell you that there is a method to this madness. Sometimes we luck out. Like technically, I lucked out. Right? I woke up from almost being asleep, stumbled into the shack, flipped it over to 920, and there they were. So that was luck. That was pure freaking luck that I had them there. But behind that luck went a whole lot of planning of knowing what time to listen and what to listen for, when that gray line enhancement was going to be. So their gray line enhancement, it started about 15 to 20 minutes before their local sunrise. And you had about a 10-minute window in there where you had a shot at them. And then the closer you got to that sunrise, the weaker they're going to get. And then their local sunrise hit and they were gone. But right there about their local sunrise was at 9:15 UTC. That was right at like 0900, just after 0900. So about 15 minutes before their sunrise was when they were at their peak. I mean, just bumping in there. That was loud. I mean, they stood out. That was talking, right? That wasn't like, oh, I heard some horns or I heard a flute or some kind of like instrumentation that stuck out that I was able to match up to a stream and some songs and stuff, which is what I usually have to do. No, this was people speaking, which normally is buried way down in the mix. So that gray line enhancement is real, right? That gray line enhancement is super real. That's what I used. Knowing about the station, knowing when their sunrise is, back timing that from there, back 15 to 20, 30 minutes, and knowing here's my window of when I can expect to try to hear them. What techniques am I going to use? What am I going to be hearing in addition to them? So I can try to rule out and say, that's not them, that's not them, that's not them, that's not them, right? I need to know in this particular case what other Latin stations might be there. So I'm not getting excited about the wrong one, right? Last night on 770, I needed to know that I had RCN Radio in Colombia. I had Radio Artísima in Cuba. I had a couple of Mexican stations on 770. So I was going to be hearing a lot of Spanish, and I did. So just because I'm hearing some Spanish and maybe some kind of particular music doesn't mean it's Montevideo. You know, even like, for instance, last night there was a song in on the Uruguay Kiwi in Montevideo that I was listening to, the song had some flutes and this female singing. I went over to my Kiwi and I heard some flutes and some female singing. Got really super excited, hit record on the 2 Kiwis, and I was ready to roll again. I was like, here we go. It was a different song. Right? So, pre-planning, doing your research ahead of time. Create your target list, know what countries you're going after, what stations are available that you might be able to hear. Sometimes we look out and get a station we think we have no business hearing. That happens. Peru, 1090 Radio Vision to Tumbes. I have no business hearing a 3 kilowatt station out of Tumbes, Peru, but it happens. So knowing, targeting those stations, doing your research, knowing if they sign on or off. When they do, what do? Do they play the national anthem or not? And then going back in and listening to their live streams, get an idea of their programming content. How do they ID? How often do they ID? What kind of sounders do they have, or imaging, or kind of little nuances, little unique things they might have for themselves? Are there unique things in those ads? All those things that we talked about, those are all things that can help you get that station in the log. So that's going to be something that I'm going to continue to refine, and as I pick up different techniques, I'll share it with you guys. But that's kind of where I'm at right now with a lot of my stations that I'm trying to target is in Latin America, specifically doing a lot of this research. Right now it's Chile, it's Uruguay, and maybe hopefully some Bolivia. That's going to be a tough one though. All right. So another aspect I've touched on a couple times, another aspect of this is anthems. And I mentioned earlier that we have a new area here on our DX Challenges website, and that is specifically for anthems. So if you go up here to the resources page on the challenge website, at the top here, you go to resources. I got to figure out why that's whited out, why you can't see those. There is a section here for unique sounds of Latin America and then the anthems of Latin America. We click on the anthems. This is the new catalog that I've put together. We got Bonaire. We've got a long and short version of the one from Colombia. We've got an instrumental and a vocal from Cuba. We've got a short adult choir version from Mexico and a couple of state anthems from Mexico. So that's our start. We're going to be continuing to add to this as we go along. This is another great resource for getting stuff, and what I was able to use this week to help me get several of the stations that I got, especially in Central America and Colombia, into the logbook, and that is anthems. There's one particular time of the day when you want to be listening for anthems for Latin America, and it's 1100 UTC. The reason for that is 1100 UTC is 6 a.m. right now. It's 6 a.m. Eastern time. A lot of these stations you're looking at, that's if they sign off, that's when they're signing on again. So you're going to hear, especially like Colombia and El Salvador, Honduras, we heard some of this week. They're going to play their anthem when they sign on. Okay, so here is an example of that. This is 570 Radio Nacional de Colombia, and at 1100 UTC on the 15th, they signed on and played this anthem.
Somos Radio Nacional de Colombia.
El Parque Científico Tecnológico tiene 6 centros universitarios. Ocelay Torres, delegada del CISMA en la capital, citó logros que confirman el vaticino de Fidel sobre el futuro de hombres y mujeres de ciencia en Cuba. Redactó Lady Sánchez. Radio Reloj a las 6 de la mañana.
En el año 67. Hoy es miércoles 15 de enero de 2025, Día de la Ciencia Cubana. Hablándoles
Jailin González,
Marlon
y René Romero Ora.
A continuación, titulares.
And then it repeats again. So that was theirs, and there's another version. This is a short version on RSANA Radio. Okay, so you can hear. I mean, you hear how well that sticks out. And I'm using actual on-air clips. I could go to their live stream and just record it that way and have a whole collection of them here. And that'd be fine. But I find it's nice to have that clip within the context of like other stations in there, or some static, things like that. So you kind of know what to expect to hear on your side from your receiver. It helps you kind of prepare and train your ears for how to pull that anthem out. So that's one of the reasons that I'm doing it this way instead of using like clean versions from their live stream or whatever. We put in here the state anthem from the state Estado de Mexico, from Quintana Roo. So you've got some different options here. So we're going to continue to add to this. Another one that I captured this week, I think I'm going to try to find a way to get hopefully a cleaner copy, is for El Salvador here.
That's our show for today, Monday, January 13th, 2025. By Jeff McKay, senior producer Kevin Delaney. I'm John Trout. This is Lecture 1.
There you go. So that is an example of another one, right? So this 1100 UTC time frame, really, really good for mining for Latin Americans. I just saw that Sean mentioned in the chat that he's got KX9X, he's got 4 VEH in Haiti on right now. And dude, that is freaking awesome. For those of you who are not familiar with that particular station, they're another one that has a really, really solid little unique thing about them. And that is this little sounder we're going to play here. If I go to my unique sounds of Latin America page, and then I scroll down here and I go to Haiti, you're going to hear this. Let's do that again. Dashing through the snow at top of the hour, almost dead on to the top of the hour. Within about the first three seconds or so after the top of the hour, they're going to play that little da-na-na-na-na, and that is Haiti. If you hear that, that's them. So these little tools that we're putting together here, we're going to continue to add to our resources page with more unique sounds, more anthems. We're going to be building out some additional stuff. Oh, I haven't forgotten that little ditty that we heard earlier. Do you remember what it sounded like for that clip that we had from Sean for 780? And I said there was another station that I'd eat in there. Do you remember what it sounded like? Why is this muting every time I do this? That little guy? That is Radio Viva Pasto, 780 in Pasto, Colombia. Again, if you hear that, that's them. Nobody else does. Na-na-na-na. Nobody else does that, especially not on 780. So if you hear that, even if you don't hear anything else, guess what? You just got Colombia. And that was a new station for Sean. So these additional little things here that we're talking about can be very, very helpful. So he says they're loud right now on 840. So let's go take a gander. Now, this is going to be difficult for me because I've got KGLA on 830 here just wiping me out. As a matter of fact, we're going to do this on the Perseus here instead of on the AirSpy for right now. So let's go down here to the Perseus. Let's go down to 840 and see what we've got.
And you may have them, but official above-board relations with Israel, unless we create a Palestinian state. You know what the answer is? Screw yourself and stick 9/11 up your butt while you're at it. I'll be right back.
I go now to 4VEH's website.
WHAS. The new year means new health goals, not just for your body, but your finances too. Your personal info is in so many places that are outside of your control. It only takes one mistake, and not even your mistake, to expose you to identity theft and
On a fait dit toujours.
So there's their live stream.
Allez bon côté pharaon demain matin. Les li pral sorti pour l'albo go la rivière Nil là.
That's their live stream there.
Altan li bo la rivière. Bâton qui te tourne coulev là, wa kembel nan men. Wa di
Many of them are overpaying by thousands of dollars a year. These GLP-1 medications for diabetes, weight loss, and more may not always be covered by your insurance, but GoodRx can help. GoodRx helps you save.
I'm not hearing them here.
Over 70,000 pharmacies nationwide. Best of all, it's free to use. Check GoodRx to save on GLP-1. Just go to GoodRx.com/GLP. That's GoodRx.com.
Let's try it up here on the Kiwi though. Let's see if we have anything up here. Oh, I got to refresh.
Monster Jam, as big as it gets. Coming to Freedom Hall March 22nd and 23rd. Brought to you by Big Tires. You have to see it live, so don't miss it. Lock in your seats today at monsterjam.com.
Save big money at Menards. Do you need durable flooring that stands up to life's messes? Update your home with new vinyl plank flooring. Peyton Vinyl Plank comes in 2 styles with a realistic wood look. It features an attached pad for easy installation, plus it's waterproof and durable.
I've got W here. I don't have Haiti coming in online. I got W in Cuba, CMHW, and that's about it right now. So that would be one that we'd need some more time in. So let's take a look here and see. Dennis asks about the finding the log on and off times for stations if they're not 24 hours. The only resource that I've got for you on that is Medium Wave List as like a consistent source. But let me also show you this. So here's how I knew about that Radio Fides. I just went to their website and they've got their program schedule on here. And you see it starts here Monday through Friday at 5:45. Here's their live stream. So if I go now, they are up. That's good. But yeah, they have their here is their other stream here
Familia Ortiz desde Potosí, gracias.
on Radio Garden. There it is. That's the website. So on their schedule, it shows their programming starts at 5:45 and it ends. Go away. Here at 2200, closing of issue, 2200 local time. So that's 10 o'clock Eastern time, 9 o'clock my time is when they would sign off. So if I have any shot at hearing Bolivia from this particular station, from this station, I would need to do it probably around that 9 o'clock time and have myself tuned to 760. Pull up their live stream, be recording it, and do the exact same thing that we all did with BVI. Pull up the live stream, record the live stream, record on the 760, and then compare notes and see what I got. That's going to be my best shot at getting Bolivia in the logbook, is looking at that time. And I know that because of this schedule right here. Now, I don't remember if it actually has it up on Medium Wave List. Let me go to their quick and easy. Sometimes this is the easiest way to get this kind of stuff. Radio Fides. Here, yeah, it says 10 to 0300. So that's where you can find that. And this is the Medium Wave Medium Wave List Quick and Easy, which I do link on the resources section of this week's form. So if you pull up this week's challenge form, I don't know if you guys have noticed this or not. But up here on the challenge page, we have all these additional resources. I have a link to each one of the Quick and Easies. Medium Wave List for North Central America, Caribbean, South America, and so forth. These are super, super, super handy. You just go to the frequency you want to look at, and it's got the list of all the stations that are there, their call sign, their location, their power, any kind of extra remarks and things like that. You'll see a lot of times, if they do have the information, if they know about it, they'll see like little identifiers here about their schedule and stuff like that. And they also have links to like their streams and stuff like that. So those quick and easies can be super helpful. So I definitely recommend on the challenge page, use those links there to get you some get out to those and take advantage of that. There we go. All right, you guys ready to do some live DX here again? Let's do this. This hour or this DX session brought to you by National Radio Club. NationalRadioClub.org is the website for more information about becoming a member of the NRC. And I highly recommend that you do if you haven't done so already. Let's go back to 840 and see what we've got here on the old shortwave Central Kiwi. You hear that splatter from KGLA? I'm going to get rid of that by going to upper sideband. got here on our Kiwi.
Great day's coming. Change is coming.
It's Levine.
Here we go.
Let's go up here to 840 now here. Let's see if we can run on the code channel canceller. How about that? Yeah, I'm not hearing that now here. I think I had some requests in here for frequencies for DX 780 and 920 from Earl. I know what you're looking for. We're super early for those guys. We can take a look. And 1380 from I think it was Carl, looking for XEOC. I didn't write down who it was from. Looking for XEOC. We'll take a look at that here in a bit. We are recording right now on the Perseus. So that's probably Cuba right there. He is riled up tonight, huh? We do have to get the shout-outs tonight, too. So after the top of the hour, we're going to do a bunch of them here. I haven't forgot about you guys. I just want to make sure we had a chance to talk about the DX stuff. Let's do a usual one here. Let's go take a look at 910. Barry knows what's up with this one. I was looking at the chat to see if I missed anything in here. David, I remember that on 1610, and mostly 1610. Dr. Scott. We used to watch him on the satellite, too. He'd sit there with a cigar. He'd come back from a little break. And just do that, and they'd run the video again, and you hear the guy asking for people to call in. That guy. Hearing Anguilla was a big thrill when I first heard him, but man, he was a character, that guy. Carl's targeting XEWA 540 and XECPAE on 1060. Let's go get that one for you, bud. I can get you a really good look at XECPAE here on 1060. How about that? We can make your dream come true here. So we're going to sit on 1060 on the 175-degree antenna. This is going to be loud here.
En esta emisión participamos Arturo Mendoza en los controles técnicos, Cristian Valencia en la continuidad, Jocelyn Vega y Margarita Ortega en el apoyo telefónica, Alejandra Maldonado en la asistencia de producción, Marimar Dávila en la realización y su amigo Froilán Rascón se despide deseándoles que pasen un buen fin de semana. Buenas tardes.
Here is Mexico XECPAE Radio Educación on 1060 on top here.
Noticiarios Pulso. Noticiarios Pulso. Independencia editorial y pluralidad desde la radio pública. Información que gira en torno al mundo. A nuestro mundo. Nuestro mundo.
¿Qué tal? Les saludamos a nombre de la Subdirección de Información. Bienvenidos al tercer informativo Pulso edición nocturna este 17 de enero, viernes 17 de enero del 2025. Su servidor José Luis Guzmán, a nombre de todo el equipo, les saludamos.
They are still there, but it's not. Whenever I've listened for a parallel, it's not the same. Let's do that.
México está listo ante la deportación masiva de migrantes.
Yeah, it's not the same. So there's the shortwave. 6185. Here's 1060.
En los estados.
They are not parallel.
La presidenta Claudia Sheinbaum reveló que un equipo nuevo de investigación se está haciendo cargo del caso Ayotzinapa. Mencionó que el ejército ha estado colaborando activamente en la revisión y que incluso hay elementos detenidos. Acusa a la presidenta Claudia.
Radio Rebellion, which we'll do that here in a second. On 5025, that one is parallel to the AM rebellions.
De intentar bloquear las reformas constitucionales al Poder Judicial y obstaculizar el proceso de selección de aspirantes a la elección el 1 de junio. En lo internacional, comentaremos que el gabinete en pleno de Israel dio su aval al acuerdo del cese al fuego en la franja de Gaza en Hamas.
Let me get this going here. There we go.
Todo el gabinete a la aprobación definitiva del documento. En tanto, el gobierno hebreo dio a conocer una lista de posibles presos palestinos que podrían ser liberados a partir del próximo domingo. El presidente de Colombia, Gustavo Petro, suspendió el diálogo de paz con la guerrilla del Ejército de Liberación Nacional después de que el grupo insurgente asesinó a una treintena de personas en el marco de enfrentamientos con disidentes de la ex-guerrilla de las FARC. En Bolivia están propuestos que no detención de Evo Morales después de que el mandatario se absente.
Yeah, they're starting to fade a bit, and I think that station underneath him is Cuba. Speaking of Cuba, we talk about using parallels a lot here. So you can see here on 670 and hear Rebellion, but you can also go to 1180 and hear Rebellion. Go to 1620 and hear Rebellion.
Dinero central, primer barrio.
That's interesting.
Cachirulo Díaz.
That might not. They're moving a lot of their outlets around right now. A lot of the rebellions are on frequencies they hadn't been on. You're hearing stuff on Rebellion frequencies that aren't Rebellion. You're hearing Rebellion on frequencies that weren't Rebellion before. So it sounds like the Rebellion is not the music. Rebellion is the guys talking. And then we're going to confirm that by going to 5025. And they're not there. Look at that. Interesting.
Y contribuir al instó a los expertos israelíes a participar.
Ese día Orlando Reyes y Cachirro Díaz ambos dieron 2 hits. Ese primer día.
Congo drums, yeah, those are probably Radio 26 in Jovellanos, Cuba.
En Estados Unidos y los números que muestran cómo las y los
or it could be XERDO, yeah, and Matamoros,
en caso de
La Raza.
Masivas, tenemos una estrategia ya planteada que vamos a esperar también a qué es lo que haga el gobierno de los Estados Unidos, pero nos hemos estado preparando para
that little parallel technique. We used to use that back in the day. That's really all we had. We didn't have live streams. we had parallels. You'd run a VFO-A and VFO-B, and you'd set your A as like, whatever frequency you were sitting on. Your B was whatever you wanted to try and run it up against. So that's how I would find all my Cuban outlets for Rebellion and Progresso and all the others, is I would say, okay, let me set my loudest Progresso was 640. I know they're supposed to be on 650, 660, so let me go listen on those two. I'd go back and forth between the two. We do the same thing now, right? We can do the same thing here. As an example of this, our friend Mexico Mike J heard this station. Let's see if they're coming in. No, not right now. They're not. He heard Radio Nacional de Colombia here on 570. They've also got outlets on 550, 560, 580. And what was the other one? I forget what other outlets we had them on. Go to my Anthems page. It's where I have it documented. 550, 560, 570, 580, 610, 680, and 1000. Although I think the 1000 is actually now an SHOUTOUTS outlet, I believe, is what I've been hearing at least. But definitely 550, 560, 570, 580. I'm not sure about the 610, but definitely the 680. Those are the outlets for Radio Nacional de Colombia. So when we talked about that anthem earlier that we played with the long version, he heard that on 570. He can now take that back in his recording from 1100 UTC and check 550, check 560, check 580, check 680, and see if he hears that same anthem at the same time on those other outlets, because they're relaying it all at the same time on that particular network. So that's another technique that you can use to get more stations in your logbook. Especially these Latin American stations like this, a lot of them run networks that are on multiple outlets. RCN Radio in Colombia is another one that does a lot of networks. So you'll have 770, 910 usually does their own thing, but 770, 1050, trying to think of some of the other outlets for RCN Radio. Can't remember off the top of my head. There's quite a few. Oh, there we go. 640, 770, 800, 980. Right in front of you, Lloyd. 10, 1000, 1020, and 1050. So you can look, if you hear that da-na-na-na-na that they usually use for their little sounder, you can check your recording at that exact same time on all those frequencies, and you've got a shot at hearing them on all of those frequencies if you hear that sounder. That's a great way to really bulk up and go from like, I heard a Colombian to I heard 4 Colombians by using that parallel method to get all those different outlets. And again, I'm going to once again hype up here because they do have a really good resource. Those medium wave list quick and easies that we looked at earlier on the challenge page. One of the things that they have here that makes this a lot easier, if I go to South America, and I'm going to go to 570. The reason I know these outlets is because here is Radio Nacional de Colombia, Bogota, 100 kilowatts, HJND. They tell you all the other outlets right there. So they make it super easy for you. You just click on those frequencies. Boom, now I'm on 550. And guess what? Well, it didn't take me to it, but 550. Oh, it went to Europe? Anyway, you at least know I can go to 550. I can go to 560, 570, 580, 680. I know I can go look at those frequencies and listen for that same thing that I just heard on, whatever frequency I was sitting on, and see if I hear that on those other ones as well. And you can go from I heard a Colombian to I heard 4. Like that. Because if you're hearing one, you've got a shot at hearing the rest, right? Especially if you ran a recording. So let's actually do a little exercise in that. We didn't hear much there top of the hour. I was hoping that 1060 Radio Educación would ID, but they did not. So I want to do an exercise here. Actually, before we do the exercise, let's do this. Let's take a quick break. We're going to come back. We're going to do our shout-outs because I want to get to our shout-outs today. And we're going to do a whole bunch of them here and get those in. And then we'll come back and we'll do an exercise through the next top hour where we do some of that 1100 UTC recording review and take a look and see what we find, right? So let's do a quick break. When we come back, we got more DX heading your way, my friends. Don't go anywhere. DX Central Live heading right after this.
DX Central, because we're all about radio. Visit us at dxcentralonline.com or check us out on YouTube. Search DX Central. DX Central Live is brought to you in part by...
From long wave to satellites, medium wave through HF, ham radio to scanners. If you can DX it, the Spectrum Monitor has you covered. Editor and publisher Ken Reitz has assembled a who's who of radio writers to share their knowledge and expertise from a wide range of DX-related topics. Each month, the Spectrum Monitor's columnists dive into their specialties to give readers tips, tricks, the latest news and station updates, and more. The Spectrum Monitor also provides a monthly assortment of feature articles that give in-depth insight into the past, present, and future of DXing. You can get a full year of the Spectrum Monitor for only $24. Individual issues from the current year are available for $3 each. You can also purchase previous years of the Spectrum Monitor in their entirety for as low as $12. For more information, visit thespectrummonitor.com. That's thespectrummonitor.com. For more than 90 years, the National Radio Club has been at the forefront of providing DXers with the latest in station news, DX-related technical information, and reception reports from DXers around the world. The NRC's AM radio log, now in its 45th edition, is the most expansive and detailed resource of station information for U.S. and Canadian radio stations that is available in any format. The club's publication, the DX News, is available in both print and electronic format and provides the latest information on call letter and format changes, construction permits, and other information to help keep DXers informed of the latest updates they may hear on the air. For more information, visit their website at nationalradioclub.org. That's nationalradioclub.org. With a lifetime membership, the International Radio Club of America gives DXers incredible value by putting important station information right at your fingertips. The club's e-publication, the DX Monitor, includes DXer loggings, station information updates, international loggings, and more. Other club publications include the IRCA Mexican Log, a must-have resource for any DXer that chases stations from Mexico, the TIS-HAR list, the IRCA slogan list, sunset sunrise maps, and DXer technical guides. The joint IRCA-NRC email reflector and groups.io group is a hub for real-time DX conditions, station news, and DX-related conversation. For more information, visit ircaonline.org. That's ircaonline.org.
Through crashes of static in quiet hours, we listen. In languages we can scarcely understand, and of places we have only visited in our dreams, we listen. Incessantly, we perfect our array of aerials, receivers, and resources. We refine our skills and our techniques so that we might listen. We are DX Central, and we're all about radio. Visit us at dxcentralonline.com or check us out on YouTube. Search DX Central. Keep up with DX Central. Follow us on Twitter at DX Central.
Are you ready for some DX? I said, are you ready for some DX? Well, I'm ready for some DX. I see what Lord has in store for us. Here we go. In the glow of the screen, it's a Friday night. Lloyd's on the North Shore setting frequencies right. AM and FM, the airwaves collide. DX Central Live, where the signals abide. Radio's on, the chatters all agree. On DX Central Live, it's the place to be. Yeah.
From the DX Central North Shore Studios, this is DXC Live. Now here's your host, Lloyd Van Horn.
Tuning in the static, chasing down the sound. Every single signal is...
All right, it's DX Central Live from the North Shore Studios here in Mandeville, Louisiana. We bring you live DX topics and conversation, and don't forget about shout-outs.
Shout out loud, hear the call for every single big or small. From AM to FM to C to C, we celebrate the ones who snag the IT. Shout out loud, let it be known, you're never DXing all alone. Through the static we found our way, shout-outs making waves today.
You guys ready for this? Can't not do shout outs. We have a bunch of good ones in here to get to. Let's start with our good friend David Pete up in Maine. David had a good week, 5 new logs, including 1200 WOAI in San Antonio for his 10th Texan. He found on his January 5th recording his 4th Venezuelan, YVSZ in Caracas on 1090. Gotta remember, that's EDQ radio, one that has doorbells on it. 570 Radio Nacional de Colombia for his 8th Colombian, and 660 XEDTL Mexico number 15, his 4th Mexican on 660. That's impressive. That's a station that I heard them earlier this week, and then they were gone, and the XECPR was back on top again. So interesting. But yeah, well done, man. So we got to get you in here. Some new actually, we got some Latin stations in here for you. Several new Latin stations. And we got to get you the logs in here too, because you got several logs. Hey, Bob. Welcome, my friend. Glad to have you here. Well done, David, up in Maine. San Antonio, Venezuela, Colombia, and Mexico from Maine. That's a haul. Well done, man. New logs for Earl, our friend Earl Higgins in Missouri. AM number 1218, new log, WIIN 780 in Ridgeland, Mississippi, 447 miles, slightly over WBBM. Blue Soul songs matching the stream, and had a couple different stations in there. And ID is Blues 102.1, ad for Casino in Vicksburg, just up the road. Great to hear a format like this on AM. Isn't it, though? Isn't it? Absolutely love. I can hear that station here in daytime, and they're a great station. Really, really good. Well done, man. Well done, Earl. We'll get you an extra in there for you. Our friend Sean Kutsko, KX9X. We've talked about him a couple times tonight. Well, he's been not feeling so great. He's been laid up with a pretty bad cold this week, so that cut into his DX time a little bit. But he still managed to get a new country in this week's challenge with the reception of ZBVI in British Virgin Islands. He says, thanks for the tip. You got it, bud. Got you. Not only, though, was that a new country for him, and we're going to go ahead and stamp his passport for that right now, by the way. We're going to go over here and find us a nice and empty page. And we're going to go over here. And we're going to find... Oh, there's an empty page. We're going to stamp that sucker right there. And Haiti was a new country for you as well, wasn't it? I'm pretty sure that was. Come back and let me know. We'll get you that one in there, too. Not only, though, was that a new country for him, but since he started DXing AM, March 22nd, 2022, he's now heard his 1,000th radio station. My man, 1,000 logs since 2022. That is absolutely fantastic. You did it quicker than I did. You definitely did it quicker than I did. I started in 2021, and I hit mine, beginning of the year? Sometime in November and everything. So that was, 3 years? You got there much, much quicker. So that tenacity and that phaser. Tenacity and a phaser. That's what did it, man. And some really good DX. He wants to share in here as well. I owe it all to the everyone in the DX Central community who have shared so much info and tips. It's a great group of radio geeks. Thanks to all of you. That's you guys. Thank you. We'll give you a shout out here too. 1,000 logs, my friend. Well done. Congratulations. And new country in not only British Virgin Islands, but also Haiti. So we're going to get you another country in there, man. get you another country stamp. Well done, Sean. Get to feeling better, bud. And he has a clip here, actually, from Haiti that he sent over to me. I'm going to play for you guys here really quick. Check this. This is the ID from Haiti. There was the dashing through the snow. You know, you've got W in there, too. I'm not sure if you already have them. CMHWW out of Cuba. They're also IDing in there. That's that STSW. Santa Clara. And then their little sounder, which is unique to them. I'll play that here in a bit. But that's also in there. I'm not sure if you already had them or not, but if you did not, there's another one for you. Well done, Sean. Our next shout out here goes to our friend Carl. Carl DeWitt up in Tennessee. Got a couple new things here this week. 6 new logs this week with one for the challenge. 790 WAMM in Mount Jackson, Virginia. 810 Radio Progreso in Guantanamo, Cuba on the eastern end of the island. Very nice. For New Latin. 1550 CBEF in Windsor, Ontario. 900 XEW, Mexico City, Mexico for the challenge. And a New Latin 1350 WSIQ. And a New Latin 1350 WSIQ in Salem, Illinois. And 730 Radio Progreso in La Fe, the little island there off of the island of Cuba, for a New Latin as well. Totals are now sitting at 948. My TEF 6686 tabletop arrived this week, but no manual was included in the shipment from AliExpress. I don't think I ever got one either. Is there an online manual, perhaps? If you don't know, someone on the show might know. I don't know if there is. I did some searching before the show started, and I found like some kind of different reference manual, like a technical thing, but it wasn't like it said it was a user's manual, but I didn't really see it as such. Didn't really seem like it was very helpful, whatever. So I'll do some more searching and let you know in Slack, but I don't think there is. Let's get you a Latin American. Yes. Really? You didn't have? Okay, well, there you go. See? This is why we do this. This is what the sounder from W in Cuba sounds like. I'm going to play the clip from our unique sounds page.
24 horas con el acontecer de Cuba y el mundo. TMHW, la información oportuna. Esta es W.
That's the part that you had right here, starting with this guy.
Esta es W.
There you go. And once again, that is up on our unique sounds of Latin America page. So that is there for you guys anytime you ever need it. If you're looking for W and you want to hear if maybe you got them, you can use that as a comparison note. That is what was on that clip that you played. Actually, let me hit it one more time just for comparison's sake. Oh, wrong one. So you can hear the audio in there. That little song starting to play as well. So well done, man. That's another new one for you as well. So we'll get you another shout out in there. And again, well done, our friend Carl. We'll get you the new logs in here as well. Let me go back to we're doing all the shout outs all at once. There you go. Unrealized DX. As long as they're not going to try to tax us on those unrealized capital gains DX, capital gains logs, I guess. Dennis up in Virginia got a couple new ones as well. He's straightening out his logbook right now. So that being said, I do have a new Colombian, and a new country. So here we go. Radio Viva Pasto Colombia 780. That's his new Latin American station. And then as well, ZBVI in Tortola, British Virgin Islands. Both of those logged last night. He caught that God Save the King as well. So even though technically, I guess, British Virgin Islands isn't Latin America because it's not a Latin country, I still kind of lump Caribbean and Latin America together a little bit mentally when I'm talking DX at least. So we're going to get you this guy for Colombia at the very minimum. And we got you the new country here as well for British Virgin Islands, my friend. Well done. And that was his first try at that one, by the way. I'm not sure if you know that, guys. That was his first try. I'm going to see if I can hear this British Virgin Islands that everyone else is logging. And it was there. He nailed it. It was just waiting on him. Must be nice. Well done, man. Very, very happy for you. So well done on one of my favorite stations on the AM dial, Radio Viva Pasto. Love those guys. Love listening to them. So well done, man. Well done. All right, so those that clears our shout outs we have for now. So if you still have some shout outs you want to get in, you got time. Go to dxchallenges.com/shout out, or you can just right to the main webpage. You'll see the shout out banner. Submit those shout outs. We'll get you some shout outs in here. We'll also do some more in the next hour as well, and we'll fire off our celebrations for our fun week that we had this week. Before we go any further, I did want to kind of highlight on the FM side, it was a pretty good week. There were several little sporadic e-openings kind of scattered about, some up a little further up towards the northeast, some a little further out, kind of a little more out west. This was the big one, though. This was on the 14th on Tuesday. Look at this. This is some January e-skip. Our friend Nick Langan was on Twitter talking about it this week. One of the most unique experiences he's had as a DXer, some of the e-skip DX he's seen this week. Now it's not even just like early January, because we had that last year where we always get this little bit right around Christmas, right after Christmas, that first week of January or so. But we're talking now, we're 2-3 weeks into January. We're still seeing sporadic E happening, and it's in the area that didn't see a lot of sporadic E in the summertime. So I'm very happy about that for you guys on the East Coast and the Northeast, that you're seeing some of that sporadic E now popping up. That is just outstanding, because you missed out on it the summer so much. So seeing you guys get that makes me very, very happy. But I mean, look at these catches. I mean, that's fan. There was a little opening here, and there was another one going on right over here. We had two clouds at least there on the 14th, and like I said, there were some more sporadic ones that happened throughout the rest of the week. But that was like the big day, was the 14th there. So again, well done to all those folks who were able to jump in on that. Haven't seen anything here in the Mandeville area, which is totally fine. You know, everyone else who didn't get it last summer is now getting it now. That's awesome. But this does bring up a point that our friend Les Rayburn in Alabama was kind of talking about on Twitter as well this week. I still call it Twitter. Pry that from my hands when I'm not going to stop calling it Twitter. He brought up that in this age that we're finding ourselves in now, with the abundancy of auto loggers that are available now and people are using, we have more auto loggers than we've ever had. I can pull up the map here for you and let you see here. Right here. So this is the auto logger map as it sits right now, the current auto logger map. And take out the old reports. So this is the current. Right? So look at all these little auto loggers. Every time you see these little spiderweb looking deals, this is somebody's auto logger logging stations in like the last 15 minutes or so. Mine's kind of dark because we had some power issues. I got to recycle my TEFs this week or today. But you see all these that are out here. And so this is more than we've ever had. The list is pretty nice and long over here. It's more than we've ever had before. So the more of these that we have, we're finding there's actually e-skip more frequently than we realized outside of season. So definitely get yourself an auto logger. Get that, whether it's through an SDR or one of the TEF radios or whatever, an auto logger. Get that set up. We've got a video on the YouTube channel here about how to do that with a TEF 6686 desktop radio. So what we're using here at DX Central to do our auto logging. Get yourself one, and you'd be amazed at what DX actually does show up, whether it be from a random e-skip opening that you never would have known about otherwise, or if it's from a meteor scatter event, like you have a little ionization going on and there's some reflection off that ionization trail, and boom, there's just randomly Ontario in your logbook one day. Or if you're out west, boom, randomly there's Wyoming just shows up, right? So you never know when those are going to pop up, because they can happen at any time, those meteor scatter hits. And we're finding that the e-skip happens more than we probably realized. We just never knew it because no one was listening in January and late January or early February for e-skip. And then we find, oh, that's actually happening. It's actually going on. So that is something that I definitely recommend for folks to do, is to jump on and get in here and get some auto loggers running at your place, and just be ready for the DX, because it's going to be showing up and you won't expect it. We talked about the resource pages earlier. Some other things we're going to be working on for it. I mentioned last week we're going to be doing a whole analysis page, taking all of the data that we've collected from all the seasons of the Medium Wave Frequency Challenge, the Summer of DX Challenge, all those graveyard challenges, all the stuff we're doing right now with the Country Challenge, all the challenges that we've done here. We're taking all that data we've collected, we're going to combine it into one big spreadsheet, and then we're going to analyze the absolute heck out of it. So you can see what are the most commonly heard stations in Colombia or Cuba or Mexico. What are the most commonly heard countries? What is the best time of the day to listen for, this kind of thing? All these different stats that I'm going to work on getting an analysis for you guys. That's going to be a longer term project, so that's going to be continuing to be in the coming soon phase for a little bit. We're also going to be putting together some research tools. As an example of that, one of the things that I found this week was talking with our friend Mexico Mike J about some of the indigenous stations down in Mexico. And so I realized I knew about them, and I knew a couple of examples, but I didn't have the full list. Well, now I do. Now I have the full list. So this would be an example of something that we would probably put up in that research page, on the resources page. It'd be stuff like this, just a list of all the indigenous stations in Mexico, what frequency, call sign, where they're transmitting from, the state and the city, what areas they cover, and the languages that might be broadcast. If there's like 4 or 5 different languages, like we have some of these, I know, 770 XEANT, they've got 3 different languages, and they have like a 5-minute sign off, because they do the sign off in all the different languages. So that is to say, on that resources page, we're going to be putting up more stuff for you all that you can use and take advantage of, as well as some links and things like that. So definitely bookmark the resources page if you haven't done so already, and keep looking back there, as we'll be adding more and more stuff for you. I do want to take some time to do some recording review. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to stop my live. I'm going to go pull up a file here from, I don't want to do this morning's, because this morning was kind of meh. Let's do the 15th. That was a pretty decent morning. Okay. So we're going to pull up here our AirSpy HF Plus Discovery recording that we did in SDR Sharp. And we're going to do some DX here from it. And we're going to look at this 1100 UTC, which is the 5 o'clock local here in the Central Time Zone, 6 o'clock Eastern, and obviously 4 in the Mountain, 3 in Pacific. But 11 o'clock UTC is a fantastic time for AMDX if you're looking for stations from Latin America, because a lot of the ones that do sign off are signing on, or even the ones that don't sign off, there are some that, even if they are a 24-hour outfit, they still play their national anthem at 6 o'clock local time. A lot of stations in Mexico and Colombia do this. 6 a.m. local time, they still play their national anthem, even if they don't sign off. So 5 o'clock Central, 11 o'clock UTC is my bread and butter right now. I'm going to show you guys, because it's actually kind of fun. This is my logbook. Everything... all of this is what I've heard this week, right? Since our last meeting. Nicaragua, Colombia, Paraguay, Colombia, El Salvador, Honduras, British Virgin Islands, Mexico. And let's take it back to the 31st of December when we hit this little run that we're on. Nicaragua, Colombia, Ecuador, Texas, Colombia, Florida, Mexico, Panama, Nicaragua, Mexico. A lot of these, especially in this little area right here, you see here, 5 o'clock. Here's 5 o'clock. Here's 5 o'clock. Here's 5 o'clock. A lot of these are all around that time frame, either 5 o'clock or in the evening, and that's what we're using to get a lot, especially down in Central America. We're using to get a lot of these stations down here. So let's take a look. I want to see here. Our friend Barry Bankston heard a station down in Nicaragua sign on a little bit before 5 o'clock, right around 5 o'clock in the morning, or 1100 UTC, here on 1120. This morning, we got a tiny little bit of them this morning, enough to be able to definitely log them, but I wanted to see if I could find a better version of them here. So let's go ahead and find this right about here at 4:58. And let's see what we have.
Insurance company. The Hostons have vehemently denied the allegations and.
So right now, there's probably not going to be anything on this recording just yet. Mexico Mike P wants to know if I've heard his local 780 XET MEP. I have recently, finally. Where was it? It was fairly recent. Yeah, I don't have it here. I pulled up right now, but it was pretty recently that I finally heard that one. All right, so this is now we're at 59:15. They should be signing on here within the next minute or two. Probably overshot it there.
The Hostons have vehemently denied the allegations and accused American Transit of muddying the waters ahead of a potential bankruptcy.
So this is what I do here for these recordings. I usually set up a schedule, and I'll come over here and I'll schedule one up to start about 4:35 in the morning my local time, which is about 10:35 UTC, and I'll let that run from 10:35 UTC until about 13:05, which puts it a little after 7 o'clock, which is probably more than I need in there. You'll see here. I got it zoomed in right now, but yeah, this one probably runs till about 6-7 o'clock. So it gives me a chance to go look for those sign-ons that happened at 1100 and 1200 UTC, so I can look for both of those. Back to it here. I'm not sure if that's them that we're hearing in here, but as a proof of concept, let's go back down here and we're going to go down to 570. And here's where I got Radio Nacional in Colombia here, was on this recording. Well, there you go. That was the anthem and ID from Radio Nacional de Colombia. Now, here's where I would then say, okay, I know there's another outlet for them on 580. Let's see if I hear them there as well. Then I come back. About 550. Not hearing them there. 680 though should. Yep. There's 680. 560.
W253DF Memphis with Fred Norsworthy and Brian Dakin. Weekday afternoon. Not2hd.unites.gov.
The NBA wins again for Cleveland. No started 10 of 10 shooting from the floor.
Go hear them on that one. So that's where you can think, like I said, you can go look at those other outlets. Once you know that on one outlet they're playing that anthem, you can look at the other outlets that are parallel to them, and you can try to see if you have anything on there. Another one that we had here on this recording was El Salvador here on 1100. And we've actually got two stations here on 1100, kind of back to back. We had a Radio La Esperanza in Honduras that popped up, and then we had El Salvador around the heels of that with their national anthem. We're all right around the same time here.
Well, for Victor's Home Solutions, you know, Cleveland winter can especially be hard on the roof of your home. Victor's recommend.
Remember Monday morning silent periods? Signing off on a Sunday night. So that's the national anthem of Colombia right there as well. That means that's 1100 Caracol Radio. So it's a different network than what we had down on the low end, but we hear the same anthem on another network on another frequency, the same anthem. We know we got a Colombian there. We just have to be able to narrow it down. And if, like in this case, I'm pretty sure if I remember right, Caracol is the only. Oh no, they have quite a few others. So then I'd be listening for other clues to tell me, okay, which Colombian do I have? If I have multiple Colombians on a frequency, I'm hearing the Colombian anthem, which Colombian do I have? And that's where I can then use some of these other resources as an example. I can come up here to my unique sounds of Latin America, and I can go to Caracol Radio, and I can listen to how they ID, which sounds like this.
Caracol Radio, ma compañía.
I heard that exact fanfare last night on 1090. Only thing I could hear. I couldn't really hear any of the other audio of the station. I could tell the guy was talking, but I couldn't understand what he said. But I heard the fanfare one more time.
Caracol Radio, ma compañía.
I heard that fanfare on 1090, and I was like, oh, there's Caracol Radio. Bingo, got him. So these are the little things that we can use to help us get more stuff in the logbook. Let's go back in here and listen to this one here on 1100. Oh, these are on the 13th. Those were the 13th that I heard those two. Let me go back over here and pull that clip up. 13th. 435. We're going to go to right after this.
Channel 9. Program contains diabetes prevention, with without sugar, a tobacco cessation program, healthy habits for the long haul, a 12-week total body wellness program, a vactrol. Our lineup of Lexus models with the warranty in the industry, having made some
So this is the same time frame. Now this is another Colombian right here, with a different version of the anthem that I didn't have before. I don't know who this was from. It could have been Caracol Radio. And then we get a little deeper in, and El Salvador and Honduras both showed up. So this 1100 UTC is a gold mine for Latin America. So definitely this weekend, try it out. Set your SDR up to record. Point your antenna down towards Latin America. Set your SDR up to record around 10:40 or so. You want to give yourself a little bit of an extra time because some of these run early. Some of them run closer to like 45 after. Some of them run at 50 after. So you don't want to start right at 1100 UTC. You want to give yourself a little buffer. So maybe around, I do mine at 1035 UTC. I start my recording around 1035, and then I run that till whenever I want to stop. I do an extra hour or two in there to capture some of the sign-ons and anthems and things like that in Mexico, looking for state anthems and things like that. But if you're just looking for that 500 or that 1100 UTC, then you can run that till about 10 after. So basically from 10:35 to 11:10, and you should be able to, in that window, you should be able to capsulate the vast majority of what you would normally get from anthems in Latin America down there. That's what I would do, and then just take your time, pull up a list on like the medium wave list, quick and easy, and that way you have your different outlets available to you, so you can check those and you can know what options are down there, what their schedule is if they have one, if they're not 24 hours, and just see what's there. And Barry's been doing this, and he's been cleaning up on like El Salvador, Nicaragua. I got one of those Nicaraguas he got this morning, El Salvador, Honduras. I think in Honduras was one he actually heard on his side as well. So these are really good times to go look for countries. So if you're looking for Central America, 1100 UTC, that's the prime time. Let's go back live here and do one more sweep in and look and see. We should be a little bit deeper now into Central America here and South America, even from here in Mandeville now that we're a little bit further into the night. And let's see, we do have another shout out in here as well. Our friend Walter Johnson checking in with a shout out. WNIS 790 in Norfolk, Virginia, received in Albany, Georgia, 6 a.m. Eastern on Saturday the 11th. 661 miles for him. WRUF 850 Gainesville, Florida, received from Albany as well on the 13th at 194 miles. XEBCC in Campeche, 1030, Ciudad del Campeche, received in Albany at 2,187 miles. And 1350 WZGM Black Mountain, North Carolina, on the 16th. Bigfoot 103.9, their ID there, up at the Black Mountain. So, well done, Walter. Let's get you a shout out in here as well, my friend. Stuart wants to know if we have anyone who has experience with GQRX. He recommended. I'm looking at purchasing an AirSpy Mini with a scanner antenna and a GQRX for my Mac as my first ever SDR. I used an old version of GQRX. It's probably been, I want to say early 2020, maybe 2021, early 2021. Definitely it's been a while since I had that plugged into my Mac that I have here. I use for my studio stuff, for my video editing and everything. It was pretty good. I was still, at the time, I was still very clunky with SDR interfaces, so I didn't really know it all that well. So I was probably the barrier for it being a great experience, like SDR Sharp and some of the others. So definitely give it a shot if you got one. If you already got a Mac and you want to try it out, because I think it's still free, at least it used to be. But yeah, it did the trick. It's a capable program. I know SDR Connect, they now have a Mac version for SDR Play SDRs. So that could also be a resource if you wanted to try one of those out. Some live DX. We're staying on the AM side though. And we're going to do this one brought to you by the Spectrum Monitor, thespectrummonitor.com. $24 a year. This is the perfect time to do it. Right now, it's January. You get a full year for $24. $2 an issue. And you're going to see my column in there at least 4 times, and maybe some other features if I have any other features that I do. You're going to have shortwave, ham radio, long wave, utilities, all kinds of stuff. If you just want to geek out on radio, spectrummonitor.com. And the grand tradition of monitoring times, popular communications, and others, spectrummonitor.com is there for you. Again, it's $24 for a full year subscription, or $3 per issue if you go individual. Let's, what we got here? I can go back to 910. Let's go back to 1120. Let's go back there and see what we have right now. Now we're getting. Now I hear something underneath them now.
With this data, no, the problem
We're going to tighten our view here, and we're going to widen our filter a bit.
slowing down that Detroit offense enough to steal that game. The Eagles Rams on Sunday. Rams are on a pretty good roll. I think Eagles are up.
Just want to get a lock on this carry here for KMOX. We have a station underneath. See if we can figure out who this is. We're also going to take a look here on our our Perseus. Sounds like the same station. If I had to guess, in Mexico mics, if you guys are still in, if this sounds like it might be Formula in Mexico, that's my guess for who this is. Is XEPOP and Formula 1120. Yep, that's them, because I got Mexico Mike J's KiwiSDR pulled up over here on the side. That's Formula Radio. That's who we have there on 1120 here. On this SDR, on the Air Spy with the 175-degree antenna, that's who we have there. But we do have other options we can take a look at here. Let's see if we have anything on the shortwave central Kiwi. Looking at 150 degrees. Let's go back to 1120 now and take a listen. It's amazing. You see the directionality at work here now. This one's pointing more towards Colombia. Now Mexico's gone. They're on the null side of this antenna. When I'm going more, now that's for an antenna that's pointed this way. I go 20 degrees this way, and I have a whole different look. And I actually have the Mexican station now. If I go 25 degrees this way towards Caribbean, that's where I have this guy.
Must include you win a Super Bowl championship, right?
Now we've really put Mexico kind of on the back side of this antenna. We're looking more towards Puerto Rico.
Have the chance to do that this
Different
year.
look.
And so there will be more pressure on them going forward. Two great quarterbacks.
That's crazy. These are such directional antennas, man. It's crazy.
DX Central Live top of the hour alert.
Yeah, I don't think, Stuart, that the AirSpy SDRs will work in SDR Connect. That's the only thing, is they have to, it won't recognize it's looking for SDR Play SDRs on their side because it's their native software for their SDR run. So, something to kind of think about. Let's take a look at 740 on the south antenna.
He graduated from CIA in San Antonio.
I do have a Latin station in there, so now let's switch it over to the AirSpy. And we're going to look on 740 here. This is another requested frequency. We're looking for Nicaragua.
And that was his dream, and so he went.
Let's get rid of KTRH. The secret with these, the correction on the co-channel canceller and your noise reduction is use just what you need. The more you use, the more watery it's going to get. Use what you need. Take care, Carl. So now what I would be doing is I would be taking another window, pulling up the stream for Radio Sandino. And seeing if I can get a parallel. I can find their stream here.
Con ustedes esta noche, tríos y voces de nuestra América. Aquellos. Buen gusto, como ustedes, amigas y amigos. En la S grande, tan grande como Nicaragua, tríos y voces de nuestra América.
This might be a formula as well, or the W radio. There are two formulas in Mexico on this frequency. Mr. RJ, yeah, that's the challenge, and that's why if I have an opportunity, my first preference is a KiwiSDR because those are close to real time. Unfortunately, we don't have any of those in Central America, and the Bonaire, one in Transworld Radio in Bonaire, is down right now. Yeah, that's got to be one of the either Formula or W. Jacob says we got some music deep on 1090. You know what I'm looking for here, folks.
Comunicación efectiva. Disfruta con alegría. Estás escuchando.
This is Milenio in Monterrey, I would assume.
Ok, estamos aquí de regreso. Buenas noches, Puebla. Buenas noches, Puebla. ¿A dónde nos pueden encontrar la gente que nos está escuchando?
Ya pueden seguir en una transmisión en vivo a través de Facebook.
Recibe gratuitamente, solamente hay que tener fe en el Señor Jesucristo, el médico de los médicos.
You know what I'm listening for. XCHR. That's what we have here on 1090. The top.
Perfecto, y que mencionaba, saludos también de aquí para allá, que bueno, está escuchando. Bueno, fan destacada, ¿verdad? Muchas gracias. Y bueno, vamos a continuar en esto. Fíjense que aquellos jóvenes, bueno, la pregunta que se quedó al aire antes de salir al foro.
Que el Señor Jesús lo estará libertando y sanando.
This little player is for Peru, Radio Vision.
Gratuitamente, solamente ponga.
Ojalá este programa llegara a muchos que al Señor hagan en esa búsqueda de encontrarlo, pero hoy queremos preguntar esto para todos los que escuchan. Yo quisiera decir que en algunos momentos más cercanos también como alejado.
I'm not hearing them right now. They usually peak around 10, 11 o'clock at night. Sometimes a little earlier than that. I've heard them here on the stream before. Not right now.
y 970-12-9, y el siervo de Dios, Pastor Francisco Córdoba Rodríguez, quien es el presidente y fundador de la Iglesia Pentecostal La Cosecha, estará orando a su favor a partir de las 11 de la noche y a las 5.
That song that's playing right there, right now, that was one of the songs that played the very first time I ever heard the station.
La tierra oyente se va preparando, que de aquí a unos minutos ya estaremos alimentando el alma con la palabra del Dios vivo, el que ha creado los cielos y la tierra. Son ya oyentes 10 de la noche con 4 minutos y le invito.
This station is
877-959-0098. That's 877-959-0098.
Want to make a difference in your community? Volunteer with your local fire department. Operational and non-operational opportunities are available, and training is.
Yeah, I'm not hearing them right now. This station is my obsession, honestly. Even though I have them in the logbook and I've heard them multiple times over the years, they're still my obsession. I love Radio Vision at Tumbes, Peru on 1090. It just gives me chills every time I listen to that live stream, or if I hear them. It's even more if I hear them on air on my SDR. I instantly get chills. I love it. All right. Let us go ahead and wrap up this evening of DX Central Live. Taking a look at the let's take a look at the before we go. Where are we with? I must have closed it accidentally. The challenge website. Pull that back up here. We can look at this real quick before we go. So, looking pretty good so far. Look at Barry, 115 points. Jacob right on the heels at 85. And that's the thing about this particular one. With 1 or 2 logs, you can make up a lot of ground. You can make up a ton of ground with just a couple of logs in this particular challenge because, you know, of the way it's structured. Especially if one of those is a new country. You're making up a lot of ground that way. So all these folks here, all you guys, you're all within reach here of Barry. Very, very, very close. Barry and Jacob. So it's still a very, very tight race. We're running this through the end of the week. So this time next week, we'll have a new challenge we'll be doing. But we're still running this through the end of the week. And so continue to work on those countries. We talked about some of the strategies. Plan your attack. Listen to the live streams. Pull up those target list of stations you want to target. Pull up the live streams. Listen to them. Get a feel for how they operate, how they sound, their cadence, their announcers, what kind of programming they're running, when do they ID, all that kind of stuff we already talked about. Use that 1100 UTC as a great time to do your recordings, pointing down towards South America, listening for anthems from Central America, from Colombia, and so forth. And then don't forget, if you're going east of that, like Venezuela, Brazil, things like that, or in the Eastern Caribbean, they're an hour even further ahead. So their 6 o'clock a.m. would be 1000 UTC, not 11. They'd be at 1000 UTC. So just keep that in mind. Mexico, all the stations, you're talking 1200 UTC for most of the stations in Mexico would be doing their national anthem, things like that, around 1200 UTC. Don't forget about those indigenous stations. We've heard it here on this live stream. You guys have been sitting here with me when we had a sign off from 770 XEANT. And the indigenous stations have really, really great and unique programming that you can use to help capture those and identify that's who that is, right? Very unique sounding versions of the Mexican national anthem sometimes. Long sign offs at 7 o'clock in the evening Central Time. So right here at 0100 UTC, they're signing off usually. So a great time to look for those stations there in Mexico. Our friend Mexico Mike J, he's written up an article about listening to indigenous stations in Mexico. He's shipped that off to the DX News. So hopefully in the next issue, that'll be there for you guys. So even if you don't make it in for the country challenge, it's still fun to do. Fun to chase those stations. Use those live streams. Use those online Kiwi SDRs. Use ours. Right, ours has a great look into a lot of Central America, Colombia, and so forth. Ecuador with Radio Monumental and 1510 and things like that. Use our Kiwis as a way to help you parallel to what you're hearing. Hit us in the Slack channel. We're in there a lot. So hit us in there and let us know, hey, Lloyd, I'm hearing this. Let me know what you think about it. You know, I'm more than happy to take a listen to it and see if it's something that I recognize. We have a channel in the Slack channel for help with Spanish. So if you have a need for someone to help translate some Spanish, that's there for you. You got a lot of people here who can help you track down who it is that you have if you have an unidentified station in your SDR. So use those resources. Really push hard this last week or so to get those countries in, because next week we're changing gears. We're changing gears big time next week into a very, very different challenge. So we're continuing with the themes, but we're doing a much, much different challenge starting this time next week when we launch our next one. So from all of us here at DX Central, my friends, we really appreciate you being here as always. We'll see you next Friday at 0045 UTC. For all of our sponsors, the DX National Radio Club and the DX News publication that they do, nationalradioclub.org, ircaonline.org for the International Radio Club of America, and the Spectrum Monitor, thespectrummonitor.com. Take care, my friends. Best of DX. Good luck. We'll see you next week, 73.
chasing signals all through night, waves that travel far and wide, feel the magic deep inside. DX Central Live tonight, turning dials, feeling right. Lloyd will guide us through the waves, all the signals we will crave, frequencies that cross the sea, mysteries for you and me. Lloyd's voice cuts through the noise, feel the thrill, enjoy the joys, ghostly whispers in the dark, find a station, hit the mark, fading in and fading out. Lloyd helps clear the doubt. Stories from the distant land, caught by waves that we command. From our homes we hear the call, DX Central Live for all. DX Central Live tonight, turning dials, feeling right. Lloyd will guide us through the waves, all the signals we will crave. DX Central Live tonight, turning dials, feeling right. Lloyd will guide us through the waves, all the signals we will crave. DX Central Live tonight, turning dials, feeling right. Lloyd will guide us through the waves, all the signals we will crave. DX Central Live tonight, turning dials, feeling right. Lloyd will guide us through the waves.
This is DX Central Live. This is DX Central Live. This is DX Central Live.